Burned by the lines. Oh, I don't know what you were doing with your day. You found a mission over here. Oh, here he comes. He's walking all souls to the gates. Mission out here. I'm sorry. Mission out here. I'm sorry. He's just like me.
Good evening. How you doing out there, world? It is your boy, Jay Sims, the Lion, broadcasting solo tonight. My boy Doc is out here on a mission to make the world better as he normally is, and I'm going to try to give y'all a little bit of information on these next couple of chapters on the 48 Laws of Power. As you can see, the screen is not as beautiful as it normally is. We ain't going to have all the banners. I can't work all the tech like Doc. I'm still learning. I'm just glad I made it on here. I know I'm a little late. We're probably not going to be as long, but we're going to cover these two chapters because one thing we're going to do here at the Book of Man is be consistent. So we got chapters 9 and 10 tonight. You know, a couple of chapters that I think most of us have experienced in real life. Chapter 9, win through your actions, never through argument. And chapter 10, infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. That's a big one right there. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. But first, we're going to go through Law 9, chapter 9, however you want to say it. Win through your actions, never argument. Basically, what they're saying is don't talk about it, be about it. Now, I'm going to be playing with some stuff in the background. I'm going to try to post some stuff in the group. I need to put that link in there, so give me a second, give me a minute. We'll get all that right, and we're going to try to make this thing work out.
Mission over here.
Now that's the link. Click on the link. You can get in, get invited in, and we can, you can get on and talk about whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and go through these chapters and get this party started. All right, chapter 9: win through your actions, never through argument. Listen, if you got to keep telling somebody 100 times over and over again, making an argument, quit talking to them. Stop talking. Just make your point. Just do whatever it is you said you was gonna do. Just do it. You don't have to go through all that back and forth, all that yickety yak, all that talking. Either they're gonna listen and be about it, or they're not. So what I want you to do is listen to the couple of stories that happen in this chapter, and you tell me what you think. First off, this man came out. This guy in Italy, they at war. He went to the engineer, said, "Send me the biggest ship you got and put a ram on it. We're gonna knock down the walls." The engineer said, "Man, listen. You don't need the biggest ship. You need the fastest ship. I'm going to send you the smaller one. It's going to knock it down. I promise you, I'm the best engineer we got. I know it's going to work." The guy said, "No." Boss man said, "Send him the biggest ship." "No, man, take the little one. It's better. I know it's going to work. I'm better at this. I know what I'm talking about." Yak, 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 yak. All day long, just going at him, telling him what to do. Them boys finally relented and took the smaller ship. Smaller ship showed up. Big man said, yo, why I got this little ship? I told him send the big ship. He said, the engineer told us this the one going to work. So the big man said, yo, send the engineer. Send the engineer. Send him up here. I want to talk to him. Engineer came up there. He said, hey, man, what's up with the little ship? I tell you, send the big ship. Here you go again, making this argument right now, showing the plan, showing the diagram, showing everything, arguing, fighting, fussing, arguing with the big man. Big man say, hey, listen, bro, I want the big ship. Let's run it. Again, yakking. So the big man said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Stripped him down naked, put him outside, had him tarred, feathered, and beaten and all of that, and sent him on his way. Now, turns out the engineer was right. And the little ship was the right ship to use. Too late now. He never got to saw the fruits of that argument. He dead. Now, the best thing he could have did was went ahead and sent the big ship, let the big man fail, let the general fail, and then come back with the little ship and say, yo, I'm showing you I'm right. But no, he want to argue and fuss and fight, man. Win through your actions, not through argument. Like, this is the example of when you're at work and the boss man come down from out of his office and he say, hey, we need to get 6 of them on this truck, or we need to do 20 of these today. We got to make this happen and make that happen today. And you look at him, you say, boss man, we ain't gonna get 20. And he say, well, we got to do 20. 20 won't fit. We got to do 20. Stop talking. The answer is yes, sir. Put the 20 on the truck. And when you get to 18 and he see 20 don't fit, guess what y'all gonna do? Put 18 on the truck. Went through your actions. You say that. I can show you better than I can tell you. That's the truth. All of that yakking, going back and forth, you losing. You can't win like that. Don't do that. Don't sit there and fuss and fight. You're gonna lose the argument, especially when you argue with somebody who's in a bigger, a better position than you. That's a waste of time. This man ended up dead fussing with the big man. All he had to do was let him fail. Now, another story, this same type of situation that worked out. Same country. Them boys in Italy be going back and forth now. If they got an eye at the back of their lane, they probably done been through something. Them boys from Italy back in the day was going through some things. This is another story for Italy. Them boys in Florence. They got a beautiful, beautiful piece of stone. This is back in the Renaissance time, everybody was sculpting and doing art and all that good stuff. They got a beautiful, beautiful piece of stone. Bring the stone in. As they unloading the stone, accidents happen. Stone gets broken. They can no longer make with the stone the original monument they wanted to build. So after everybody, all the artisans in the region looked at it, they was like, man, there's nothing we can do with this. There's no way to save it. I don't have a clue. They said, and one of the guys that was there said, you know what? I know Michelangelo. I'm going to go and ask Michelangelo to come and look at it, see what he can do with it. Michelangelo, Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo, that dude, you know who I'm talking about. Painted the Sistine Chapel and all that good stuff. He comes, he shows up, he says, you know what? I can do something with this. I can make this statue work. I can make this brick, this stone work. I can turn it into a beautiful statue. Give me some time. Watch me work. So Mike get in there. He go to work. Bap, 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 bap. Knocks out, makes a beautiful statue. Statue looking great. Now the man who initially commissioned the statue, who said it couldn't be done, who was paying for everything, walks in there and says, I don't like it. Oh, Doc, what's up, Bubba?
Yeah, we here.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He done jumped in on me. I thought I was gonna be sold tonight. My guy, what's the word, brother?
Oh man, well, we here in Dallas, and it's super cold, ice everywhere, roads frozen over.
Oh no!
But we all good. We got a lot of work done today, so we here, man, and we couldn't miss this. So I am here.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Back in the building. Yeah. So we doing chapter 9 and 10. I'm on the Michelangelo story. I don't know if you know remember how that one went.
Yep.
So your boy he built the statue, bought in Cicilline. Cicilline looking at the statue, he say he don't like it. Say the man nose too big. So Mike say, you know what? You right. Say, come look at it from this way. Come over here and look at it. Took him up on the scaffold, grabbed some old rock dust in his hand, grabbed his chisel, went up there, tapped on the nose softly a couple of times, dropped the rock dust out of his hand, Shawshank Redemption style, dropped the rock dust out of his hand, and all of a sudden, he looked back at Cicilline and said, what you think of that? Cicilline said, yeah, that's better. Mike ain't changed nothing on that statue. Mike didn't change nothing on that statue, but I ain't gonna argue with you. I want you to feel good about it. Now the trip is, you know what statue that was that he was trying to change? Statue of David. So one of the greatest works in history, trying to get Mike to change the statue. Maybe that statue is not what we think it is at this point. Had he changed that statue just a little bit, and the reason Mike wasn't going to argue and fuss with him because that was the man paying the bills.
Yeah, that
was the patron writing them checks. I'm not arguing with him. I want him to feel good about whatever I'm doing. I need him to feel good.
That remind me of the first law we talked about, not outshining the master.
Don't they go together?
And this is the same thing. Sometimes it's better just to show them.
Yeah.
Let them think what they're doing is right. But then in the end, when it don't work out, then they'll see that you was right all along.
Yep.
But the hard thing is, what do you do when it's one of those situations where proving them wrong through those actions could be detrimental to your progress and what you're trying to do?
Well, that's the toughest part of it, because you might say, if I work through actions, or I let this thing go bad for 1 or 2 times, you end up, certain people get hurt. For example, in an example of the war, that engineer was thinking to himself, if I send the wrong ship, people are gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm right, but sometimes you gotta let folks learn the hard way.
Well,
don't talk about it.
Something that we always talked about is knowing when to apply the law and when to do certain things.
Right.
So you have to know when to prove your point, when to argue for your point, and when to just step back and show them better than you could tell them.
Yeah. Like, listen, there's always going to be times when it's hard decisions that have to be made. That's just what it is. That's just how this thing works out and plays out. And if you don't make the hard decisions, someone is going to lose one way or the other. The question is it going to be you that's going to lose, or is it going to be the master that's going to lose, or whoever else you was dealing with at the time? Me personally, if I'm the engineer in this situation, I'm going to go ahead and send the ship the guy asked for while I'm at the back. Them guys on the front going to die. I'm going to stay back here in the back. And when they come back, hey, go the right ship.
Mm-hmm.
I would have sent the big ship and said, hey, boss man, I sent the ship you wanted, but I really believe the other ship will work. And I probably would have sent them both.
Yeah.
So
have that, what they call it, the ram in the bush.
Right.
You got to be ready to show up and save the day.
And I probably would have told him, hey, if you I probably would have told him, hey, look, why don't you use the small ship first, just in case you don't want to lose the big ship if it don't work.
But I gotta bring our attention to one big thing though.
Okay.
Something that we always miss when people are doing that to us.
Yep.
Because we got a way of thinking that we always right and we know everything.
Yeah.
And some people letting us fall on our face too. Same way.
Yep. Well, I
So,
mean, that's probably happens the most in our homes.
mm-hmm.
You know, in your homes is probably where this plays out the most. You know, you having a discussion, i.e., an argument maybe with your lady. One of y'all stressing the point, and sometimes you got to have those fights because it might concern your finances or the future of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you got to have those arguments because you can't take that L in every situation.
Yeah, and I can definitely say it's been, you know, we've been married a long time, getting on 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of there's been times when, you know, this would happen to me, and my wife know what's going on. She know she know. And she kind of would step back and let me do what I do, and it end up in a certain way. And you know, other times it's the other way. So I mean, we just have to be mindful that sometimes we don't know everything.
That's 100% true. We don't know everything, which is
Oh.
why it's good to have somebody you can have a dialogue with.
Mm-hmm.
But in a marriage or in a household, the two people are on the same level, and they should both have the same
Yes.
vested interest in the success of the household. In a
Yep.
situation like where there's a general to a subordinate, you might want to shut the hell up.
Yeah, and you're right. You know, in terms of a marriage, there to me, some people won't see it that way, but um, the two have to be equals, and there are times when one is the subordinate and one is the master, depending on what happened. You know,
Correct.
for example, my wife, she does a lot of surgery related things, certified surgical first assist. So she's done, you know, took out people's intestines and put them on hangers all around. Um, she's done what she likes to call object retrieval,
Mm,
a
mm,
foreign body retrieval. You know, when
mm.
people put stuff where they ain't supposed to be.
Yeah.
So when it comes to medical things,
Gotta be
I don't
fair.
even ask questions.
Right.
You know, if she say do it, then we do it.
Yeah.
I fall back.
It makes sense. You know, that's like, like my situation. My lady is an ex-financial planner.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what I do? I just put the money in the account. I ain't got time for all that back and forth. I'm not going back and forth. You an ex-financial planner. You went to school. You did this for a profession. You got paid to do this. Guess what I'm gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
I just put the money in there.
Yep.
That's it. I don't even worry about it. She want me to worry more about it. I'm like, for what? You better than me.
But you got it.
You got it. But
You're right.
you're a financial planner. If I'm doing this better than you, something wrong.
Yeah, you're right. You know what you're doing.
All I want
And
is a number. How much money do I need to make?
yes.
I'll go make it. That's it. I'm just gonna put it in the account. After that, it's on you. Just tell me how much money do you need in there? We go get it. We figure this thing out.
Okay. Now you know that comment you throw it up earlier. You know, OG is in the house, or he was. So definitely, if you're still out there, oh, there we go. And I bet you that's OG again. I hate the fact that it says user, but it's all good. We know who it is. I can see it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
definitely, if you want.
Oh, he talking still here. That's him.
Oh
That's
yes,
the OG
yeah,
right
he's
there.
still
He's
here.
still here. You know, he always with us.
Now he got his book. He got his book this week.
Yeah.
So he catching up.
Yep.
And I think he's gonna be a strong voice to what we're trying to do.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely somebody who's able to learn from others, but at the same time give out knowledge too. So
yes, sir.
Definitely glad to have the OG in the house.
And you know what? This comment right here, I always ask because I want to learn. That's not a bad approach, especially if you with somebody, you in an environment where it's an open environment, a learning environment. That's not a bad approach. Sometimes that is the best thing you can do is let somebody else do what they're gonna do. Shut up and learn and listen, because you're gonna learn one or two things: how to do it or what not to do.
Yeah,
and that's always good. I just like
go
ahead, brother.
Oh no, you go ahead, man, because I was going to say something about because on the flight out here, I was reading trying to get some preparation going on, and I noticed a couple of things. But you go ahead, I'll look back around to that.
No, I was just saying in this chapter is a lot of, like you said earlier, I can show you better than I can tell you. I start to realize, as I was listening to this chapter and the next chapter, I realized how much of this book, is old sayings that we've all heard, broken down and made into real, raw material.
Yeah.
In this chapter right here, I can show you better than I can tell you, or don't talk about it, be about it. Let your actions speak for themselves. You don't have to tell the whole world what you're good at or what you can do or and all that kind of stuff. Just do it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It'll speak for itself. Like all that stuff is the stuff we've learned growing up. And then we never really knew or really broke down or understood where it came from, and more importantly, why it works. But now, as I get into this book, I'm like, oh wow, that's why we did that. We're making them connections, and it's just it's really good to have I guess a more thorough breakdown of some things we all grew up with.
This made me think about, I was speaking with a fellow teacher the other day about kids, like inner city kids and kids who from the suburbs are two different things.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, adults and kids are the same. So when I was in the inner city teaching, those kids, when they talk about wanting to fight,
they want to fight.
It wouldn't be no talking about fighting.
Yeah.
They just haul off and do it. Yeah. Versus the suburb kids, they're going to say they're going to fight all day long, but never do anything. They don't really or they won't do nothing. Or like on social media.
Yeah.
When we have people who say, these people not supporting me, I'm going to delete these people or block these people or do this or that. If you really want to do that, then just do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can show people better than you can tell.
Exactly. But that's people, they do it for the attention. You know how that go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course.
They just say this or say that, because they want the attention. It's just like when people post, I don't know everybody in my business, because you keep posting it. we in your business because you're telling us. Stay out my business. No, I can't. You're on my page. Every time I log on, I see you.
Right.
I can't stay out your business. I would like to stay out of your business, but you keep.
Yeah. What I was going to say is, in the bottom of the chapter, there's always something that says keys to power.
Right.
And this is where it's kind of break down the historical context of what they're talking about. Now, the line, if I can find it again, I should have highlighted it in this one. It says, you have to judge your moods by their long-term effects on other people. And the problem in trying to prove a point or gain a victory through argument is that in the end, you can never be certain how it affects the people you're arguing with. They may say that they are agreeing with you, but on the inside, they resent you. Or perhaps something you said inadvertently offended them. So what it's saying is that through arguing with folks, that you end up making more enemies than friends.
Correct.
And what's more dangerous is that you may make pseudo friends. Somebody who feel like they're on your side, but they're really not. And it can be like one of those et tu brute kind of things. Like Caesar. And I want to say Caesar was in the next chapter. It might be this one.
Yeah, Caesar in the next chapter.
But it could be that.
That next chapter go in. But one more touch on this chapter. One of the parts that says you arguing with somebody and you making big, huge arguments, but everything you're saying is falling on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the point? If nobody heard anything, nobody was listening or taking into what you were saying, because all they really, especially somebody in a higher position than you, all they want to do is what they want to do. They think they're right. So why keep going back and forth? That's why sometimes you might make a statement. Hey, I don't know if that's gonna work. Nah, it's gonna work. Cool.
Okay. You go right on and do it.
No problem. You got it. How you want me to do it? Left side, cool. I'm gonna put it on the left side. It ain't work on the left. I'm gonna put it on the right. It ain't work on the right. Which one we do? I put it in the middle. I put it in the middle. It ain't working in the middle. Hey.
Now I'm not gonna lie. I do have a problem. I have a personal problem with the I told you so's. I have a personal problem with that. Because I do want to argue and prove my point. And I think I do need to shut up and just do it.
Well, I'm gonna say this about the argue and I told you so, whatever. None of us like the I told you so. But the thing about it, if you're going to argue with someone, you turn out to be wrong, you might as well prep yourself for the I told you.
You gotta be ready,
especially if it's a woman. Because you're not getting the I told you so right now. You're getting the I told you so in all situations similar for the next couple of years.
Oh man, some people would say I do that.
But what about? So you got to be real careful. If you once you step on that ground of the argument, you better make sure you're on some solid ground.
You can win.
But never get into a fight you can't win.
Oh, definitely, man. But in another aspect, I know we focused on the arguing part. This chapter reminds me of, and if you're a biblical person, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So in the Bible, when Jesus taught people, he taught through parables and examples that they would understand. He never forced anybody to follow him or believe what he believed. And if you look at those parables, they're just examples. And that's the same thing that was going on in this chapter, those examples. Further down, it talked about Nikita Khrushchev. And he was a leader in Russia.
Right.
And the people was saying, why in the world did you not say something about Stalin? Right. And General Stalin, now he was the truth over there. He was the truth. They still got statues about him over there. Yeah. And he said, now when the heckler say, why you didn't do this? And he said, who said that? And nobody said anything. They kept their mouth shut and their hands down. And then all he said is, now you know.
See, I ain't got time to argue with you.
So it's the same thing, showing them an example, the same way I said Jesus does it. Yeah. Sometimes you show them people those examples, just so they can understand that point of view. But I think that's what a lot of some issues are adversarial. They're trying to fight you, they're trying to fight for something. And then other ones, and most of the time, people just don't understand where you're coming from. Right. And this is a good way to show it. A lot of times
people understand where you're coming from. So, and I think this is a lesson, that we can take in our professional life and our personal life. A lot of times you just arguing, and it ain't really doing nothing. So, go ahead and let the action speak for itself and make it work. Now, this next chapter, chapter 10. Oh man, this is one of the most important.
Let's go and talk about this one.
This is the one I'm laying on. I've been waiting on this. One of the ones I've been waiting on right here. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. AKA keep them toxic, nasty, low down, trash ass people from around you. Keep that energy from around you. Move it, throw it, run from it. Whatever you have to do, keep that ugly energy from around you. Please, men, gentlemen, if you are listening to this right now and you know somebody if they ain't never been up, every time they get up, they go back down. They just can't stay up. They can't get right. Them can't get right people you got in your life, get them out your life.
It'll rub off on you.
They gonna keep them as I know that's your brother. I know that's your sister, your auntie, uncle, cousin, them, your auntie, mama, them, all of them. Get them from around you.
But you know what happens though? It's like that old saying: birds of a feather flock together. And it's real easy for your type of bird to turn into something else. Because what's funny is that from the ground, eagles and vultures look the same.
Hey, you can't tell the difference till you start seeing their actions. Till you start seeing their actions, and then you realize, oh, okay, that's something different. But this chapter, I like to call her the original toxic female.
Yeah, I was definitely, when I read about this one, how in the world they let her do all this stuff?
She must. I want to see a picture or a photo. She must have been the baddest one.
You got to find out what was going on.
Okay, all right. First off, her name. She changed her name to Lola Montez, and I'm sorry, Lola is a sexy name. It's just a sexy name because of the song, I guess. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Which maybe that person read about this girl, and that's where the song come from. Somebody said, "I only allow it for the comedy of it." It's still around you. Comedy or not, it's still around you. That's that negative energy. Just. I don't know if it's worth the comedy. I'll find some positive comedy. But Lola Montez.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came to
AKA Marie Gilbert from Ireland.
Yeah. But she had some Spanish in her heritage, so she changed it up. Listen, Marie Gilbert ain't as sexy as Lola Montez. That's a sexy name. Yeah. Somebody tell you Lola Montez coming over, like, who is Lola? So find out what's going on with that. Shows up, she wants to be a dancer. Can't dance. It ain't work out. You know what the next step, you know the next step, they go to Hollywood, they go to New York, they want to be a model, they want to be an actress and all that. When it don't work out, what they do? They end up one or two places, on the pole or in the bed. That's all I'm saying. That's normal. Same thing happened to Lola. She ended up a courtesan. But she was no dummy. She ended up putting herself, I think she did do well, was put herself in the room with the right people.
Yeah, because eventually, the king of Bismarck, I think they said.
Yeah, King Ludwig of Germany.
Yeah, okay, King Ludwig. So he ended up, she started off small with like a regular dude, and then he died, and she moved on and got, the king of Bavaria, Queen Ludwig, and it just kept going. But what I think the lesson out of this is how a person with I'm gonna say negative energy or negative thought patterns can affect you. Because in the story of her, it started off innocent enough until she started getting full of herself and demanding certain things. And when she got to become the wife of the king, her demanding things got bad.
Yeah.
So
to the point they kicked her out the country, ran off.
Well, the king had to turn on her.
Yeah.
He had to turn on her because the people wasn't having that.
Look, man.
Listen,
Them females that had you messed up out here, man. If you don't, toxic people, you got to get them from around you. They had your whole country messed up.
Yeah, because I mean, look at it. The first guy she was with, he got killed in a duel over her that she kind of instigated.
Yep.
King Ludwig, was about to get overthrown because of her. Who did she go? The dude from England.
Yeah.
He was in officer school, ready to become high-ranking official.
Yep.
Making lots of money.
Yep.
And needless to say, he ended up dead and poor. The person who published her autobiography, which I'm quite sure she has a quite interesting story,
yep,
went bankrupt. Paul Hull, who she married in 1853 in California, he became a drunk, fell into depression, and he died when he was young. So everywhere she went,
listen,
it was.
She made a world tour. She made a world tour. She started off in she was born in Ireland, went to France, went to Germany, back to England, then to America.
Yeah.
And wreaked havoc on all fronts.
Yeah. Now, I do want to.
How you ain't shit in 6 countries?
6 countries.
Your name bad everywhere. You got no stops, so your name was good. Your face just bad.
I've been in 6 countries.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how you just trash everywhere, man? I don't
trash in 6 countries.
You can.
What I do like about what Robert Greene said is that the affecting character type is not restricted to women. It has nothing to do with gender.
Nope.
So it's dudes that do the same thing.
Yep.
I think this example was easy for him to see. But we know those people out there, like you said, they can't get right, or they always want to do something, and they be pulling you down, but you can't stay from around them. Well, that is the thing. So here's my question.
Okay.
Now, these gentlemen in the story earlier, how would they even know that she was like that? What could they have done to change their fortune?
Well, I think they probably did what a lot of us do when you first meet somebody you're attracted to, or you see as some kind of value. You overlook negative traits.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do overlook negative traits, they just keep adding up over time, and the next thing you know, you in a hole with somebody or with some, with a situation, and you don't know how to get the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what happened. I mean, I can only assume she was very alluring and very beautiful, because I just can't see how these guys who are people of note, all these guys
was hitting at the same time.
Yeah. Would have just failed for her. Like, there was one guy, they said he had all the options in the world of women, and she was 10 years older than him. And he still went that way.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not common. Most guys who have all the options tend to go younger, and whatever the case might be. So this woman, she clearly had something. She had, and she was trying to use that to propel herself forward in life, which is fine. I understand that. If you're a woman, especially in that time, your womanly wiles was one of the best things you could do to propel yourself in life.
Right.
I mean, she did it to the point where she was married to a king and had beginning the title of countess. Yeah. She just didn't know what to do with it once she got it. She probably should have read the book.
You messed that up too.
Yeah. So
I think, I'm trying to think how other men and boys and young men would encounter this, and we they look for the female or the women to do it. But like the author said, you know, men do it too.
Right.
And what I'm thinking is that loyalty is something that gets us drawn into this.
Yep.
We will keep people around us because we think they're loyal to us, or they might have saved us one time or two from whatever it may be, or helped us, and we tend to overlook the traits
Right.
that they have.
That's true.
'Cause, I mean, it's a bunch of no good dudes out there too, man.
Oh
People
yeah.
ain't doing nothing.
Oh yeah. And that's kind of what happens is you meet someone, they hit you with the sob story,
Mhm.
or they catch, you know, she was studying the guys. You can see she studied them. She said the one
Yeah.
guy she found out, oh, he ride all the time. You know, she found out, oh, he ride all the time. Okay. So she put herself on a horse and made sure he saw her. And one time she let the horse get in an accident and threw her from the horse.
Yeah.
So
She did on purpose.
right. So she engaged. She engaged. She found out about this guy. She looked into him. She followed him. She researched him, and knew how to get, you know, weasel her way into their life. And this is what a lot of people do, men and women, who are kind of, you know, toxic, nasty people.
Mhm.
They that's what they do. They study people. They try to figure out where your weakness is, what it is you're lacking, and
Mhm.
they work their way into your life. They generally make themselves more valuable,
Mhm.
or make themselves feel more valuable to you than they actually truly are.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was two things, you know, that I wanted to say. Um, One is, I think that people who are stuck in this situation where they're around toxic, negative people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're picking up negative traits, that they don't have the courage to say, I'm not down with that.
Right.
You know, it was hard for some people to not be around certain things. Um, One example, I was talking to my mentor a couple weeks ago, and the subject of using drugs came up because he never used it, never smoked, did anything like that either. And he said that for him, the people he knew would always try to get him to do it, but he didn't see the usefulness in doing it. So he would tell them no, but they would always try to pile up on him to say, man, you need to do this.
Right.
And what he said is, after a while, they understood what it was, and then they still were friends with him, but they didn't harass him about it anymore. Well, this is a kind of the same thing. You know, you have to set a set of principles within yourself, because everybody got to have that. They got to have some kind of foundation of stuff they're willing to do and things they're not willing to do. And you got to be strong enough to stick by that. The second thing, oh, go ahead, man. You were gonna say something. I'll come back secondly.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think what happens in situations like this, with
Hmm.
people like this, most of the time, people like this are very, very good at breaking you down over
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that whole, if you give them an inch, they're gonna take a yard type of deal. At
Mm.
first, it's something small. You know, it don't really bother anything. It's not a big deal. It's something you wouldn't normally do, but I want to please the person I got emotions for, feelings for, my friend or my lover or whatever.
Mhm.
So you do it.
Mhm.
Then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And next thing you know, you 12, 15 steps removed from something you would have never done. You
Yeah.
know, because it's just over time. Because I gave him one. I can give him two. I gave him two. I can give him three. Next thing you know, you done gave him 50. You know,
Yep,
you
that's
done
a
broke your
long range
promises
hustle.
50 times.
Now, what's important though, this is the lesson that we teach our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for us, you know, with our daughter going off to college soon, and this is definitely a lesson that we want to make sure that she gets.
Mm-hmm.
That there's negative people out there looking to use you and propel themselves. Um, because
Definitely.
in the examples earlier, the lady there was trying to just increase her station.
Right.
And as we talk to our daughter about this stuff, watch out for people who are just trying to use you.
Exactly.
And keep them awake. And then picking up bad habits is the worst. But the second point I was going to make earlier, and this is something I know we have to stress to her and people, well, my daughter, but also people who want to help. It says that it would be a great thing if we could raise them up, change their patterns. But it's more often than not is that their patterns end up getting inside and changing us. So the people who believe that they could help, and okay, yeah, they bad. I can be with them and change them though. But they end up changing you.
Yep. Most of the time, if you're here and you meet somebody that's kind of down here, it's rare that you bring them up to you.
Yeah.
It is far more often y'all either meet somewhere in the middle or you go down to meet them. And that's one of the things you got to worry about. Sometimes in this situation similar to this, the person that's the toxic person or the negative energy person, they don't mean to be. I'm sure Lola Montez thought, I'm just trying to come up. I'm just trying to raise my station in life. She was just an extreme example of a horrible person. But most people in our actual life, they don't know or even trying to be. They just are. And that's why it is incumbent upon you or us or any other individuals in the situation to realize, man, I got to get from around this person.
Mm-hmm.
They bringing me down. Now, flip to this, the reversal is put yourself around positive people.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. That's what he said. It works,
Right.
He called them infectors, people
Right.
that can infect you. And they don't always have to be negative and be infected by somebody positive, like you say.
Yeah. And that's what you have to shoot for and strive for in life is be around people that's going to improve you. If you lacking if you're lacking in money, be around folks with money.
Mm-hmm.
If you're lacking in educational background, be around folks with education.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you put yourself. That's one thing Lola did extremely well, was she put herself in the room with people that could help her. Just the caveat of that was she was hurting them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we have to recognize is there are going to be people in those as you get better or you do better in life, it's going to be people that come around just to suck off you, like you were saying. But then you also have to do your diligence to put yourself around people that can lift you up.
Yeah, definitely.
But don't be a suck on them as they lift you up.
Yeah, that's why I'd say if you look in the about page of the group, one of my favorite scriptures is iron sharpens iron, as a man sharpens the countenance of his friend.
Mm-hmm.
So what that's saying is that it takes two of us to sharpen one another to become better.
Right.
But the second part says that you have to give also, rather than just being sharpened.
Right.
You got to give something.
Yeah, you got to put, and in some cases, especially when you've made the effort to put yourself in the right spaces, the people in those spaces, they just appreciate your effort.
Yeah.
You're coming in, they're like, look at this guy, he don't really have much, but he coming in there, he putting it all on the line, he going hard in the paint, he working hard, he going hard, and they become willing to invest in you because you've shown that effort.
Mm-hmm.
You put that work in. So
now, I'm going to say this. This is not a story per se, but it is an example. And I see my wife do this all the time. She's really good for going into places where she feels like she is outclassed in terms of education and achievement. And when she gets in there, she works harder than all of them, but they all respect her. Now she's in a situation where she works with doctors all the time, doctors left and right. That's just it. And, in terms of education, I got the most degrees in the house.
Right.
But her, with her associate's degrees and certification, can go amongst people who've been in school longer than all of us put together and still command respect just because of what she does.
Right.
And this the same thing like you was talking about. You know, you get in there, you work hard, and you take away from them the things that help you, but also you help them through your work.
Right. Yeah, you
You
bring
know,
something to the table.
yeah,
You don't go in there and just mooch off whatever skill set or whatever those people have put together. You come in there and you say, hey, look, I know you guys have a skill set or education or access that I don't have. So I'm gonna put this sweat equity in.
Yeah.
To try to match, whatever tangible skills those folks may have. And I think if you one of the things I've been working on personally, and they say your income is the average of the 5 closest people to you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Which is basically saying if you want to get some money, get around some folks with some money.
Yeah.
Stop being around broke people.
Yeah, but the habits change.
Right. But if you the brokest person, that means you putting them around a broke person.
Yeah.
Which is why rich people tend to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you get into the room with those people? You got to have something of value they want. So that's your trick. You figure out what it is of value you have to offer to the next, whatever that next level you're trying to get to. You figure out what you have of value to offer to that next level, and you push it and maximize it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So you definitely have to be on the lookout for that. And also, I wouldn't even say more so about, the money part is definitely important. And that's one of them things that you could definitely get from other people. But even if you think more about even habits,
yep.
If you want to get in shape, then be around people that go to the gym.
Yep.
If you want to get smarter, be around people that read books or watch this live stream.
Watch this live stream, book study every Thursday night. Watch a live stream, get on something.
What you said, every Thursday night at 7, rain, sleet, or snow. Saturdays at 11.
Ice in Dallas or rain in Atlanta, we're gonna be here.
Ice in Dallas, we here.
Yeah, man. And these 2 chapters, man, are very important. I think they apply very heavily to your personal life as much as your professional life. Because, that back and forth arguing is not good for the relationships. Even if you are in a relationship with someone like yourself, you've been married for 20 years, it doesn't make sense for either one of you or your wife to have some old negative, sad ass single people around.
No.
Now, a positive single person, that's cool. Y'all might be able to influence them, especially a positive single person that wants to get married and wants to have a family. Y'all are probably people they need to be around. They need to be around somebody that's been married for 20 years and is trying to and can show them an example of how a marriage should work. And if they working in that right, then that's somebody cool that y'all can have around. But somebody that's single talking about I'm out here doing me.
Hey,
that ain't who you want.
Look, and see that's a good example because that's the way that infector, like Robert Greene talks about, can get in and change you. You want to be around people like that. You got to protect what you protect yourself and what you got going on. You can't do that at all. Later on in the chapter, he said it's one solution to infection. And that's quarantine.
Yes.
You got to get away from them. You got to go.
One solution. Only solution
So he said that, and the question came, the same question we asked earlier. How can you protect yourself against such insidious viruses, those people? He said the answer lies in judging people on the effects they have on the world and not the reasons they give for their problems. So you judge them by what they do, but not what they say. Oh, well, you know what we say. You know, it's the white man, or it could be any number of things.
Right.
But look at the person themselves
Exactly.
and what they do.
And that's the big thing. You gotta pay attention. You gotta study. You gotta study yourself, the people around you, and how the people around you affect others and you.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can't just sit here and I got this person because they've been my friend since I was a kid. They've probably been hurting you since you was a kid.
And
you don't find yourself pulling them out of situation after situation, you might have to cut them off. Everybody can't go with you.
And see, and you're right, because some people are not made for that.
Nope.
And he says, Robert Greene said here, I like this part. He said, most of all, do not take pity. Do not enmesh yourself in trying to help. The infector will remain unchanged, but you will be unchanged. Man, let them people do what they do. If they decide to want to change or shift, they'll come to you.
Exactly.
Looking for help.
You got fellas, ladies, you have to be willing to walk away and save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Harvey said the best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that works in so many ways. The best thing you can do for a toxic person is not be one. The best thing you can do for a lazy person is not be one. The best thing you can do for an overweight person is not be one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what it is. Whatever a person says they're working on, and again, back to I can show you better than I can tell you. You know, you say you want something in life. If I'm doing it, I suggest you start doing what I'm doing because I'm not gonna start doing what you're doing.
And that's true. You know, those people infect you. I mean, I think about in the classroom and in management, if your boss comes in or somebody comes in and y'all behind on work or things not going right, and they act like they're frustrated, snapping and fussing at everybody, doing all of this stuff. And then you tend to take on that same thing if you're not careful.
Yep.
But you got to maintain and stay who you are. I mean, I've been victim of that a few times. I teach with somebody else and they come in because they have a rough day. The car might have got towed or something. And they fussing and being mad all the time, throwing stuff around. And all of a sudden, you think you're supposed to do that too. But that's the infector. But we can't do that. He uses a term. Robert Greene used a term called emotional osmosis.
Oh, that's
the one that I like.
Yeah,
and he was talking about that in reference to your boy.
Oh, Talleyrand. Yeah, that's my boy. Hey, listen, he keep coming out. That's my guy, man. That's my boy Talleyrand. He said what he said. He emotional infection. He was a sharp guy. Everybody liked him. Used to affect everybody positively. That's what you got. That's a hell of a thing to be known for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing people to feel like when you come around, it makes things better.
Yeah.
It's hard to be in any situation where XYZ person's gonna show up and kill the morale, kill the mood, bring the whole thing down.
Mm-hmm.
I posted something the other day, but Kevin Gates says a lot of men come home and they just sit in their car and stuff like that. They don't want to come home. It's the same thing. If you know you're about to walk into a house where you don't feel wanted or appreciated,
mm-hmm.
you don't want to be there. It's a mood killer, man. You just got to get that kind of stuff out your life. You just can't have people and things in your life that just This life's short,
Mm-hmm.
and having negative people and negative energy just makes it waste of time.
Yeah, yeah, it ended up hurting you in the end.
Yeah.
Remind me of what I told my son a while back. My son is incredibly brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not well, he book smart, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about brilliant in another way. Make me feel stupid a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But he likes to argue his point. And if he thinks something, that's what he gonna do. Sometimes he like, I'm out for myself. But what I had to tell him is that you should always strive to make the situation better. Wherever you go, you try to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Leave stuff better than what it was when you came.
Yep.
And this is the same thing. That's one of those things you can pick up from other folks, being around people. Going back to Talleyrand, they said that he was born into the rich family,
Right.
and that they was wealthy. He had a certain way of doing things that was aristocratic and gracious. He had charm and wit, noble family. And that's why Napoleon wanted to be around them. Because Napoleon was just like the rest of us, born poor.
Right.
And he had certain, he was rough around the edges. Talleyrand wasn't, so he was trying to pick up some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that go back to what you were saying earlier about being around the right people.
Yep. Same thing. You gotta be around. You gotta put yourself in the room with the right people. You can't stay. You're not gonna be able to stay around the same people you've been with if you're trying to move forward in life. You want to know where you're gonna be in 5 years? Look around at your friends.
Yeah, that's tightly connected to what I'm looking at here, where is the emotional osmosis to your using that to your advantage. You be around people, you soak in that stuff so you can put yourself around better people. So he said that if you gloomy, hang around cheerful people. If you always want to be by yourself, be around people who want to be around other folks. And it says never associate with those who share your deficits, your defects, because they will reinforce everything that hold you back. Only
Yes.
create association with positive affinities.
Hey, if you love nothing more than to sit up in the house,
Mm-hmm.
eat cake, and watch movies, and you get with somebody that don't want to do nothing but eat cake and watch movies, but you talking about you want to get in shape, guess what you're gonna do?
Hey,
You're gonna eat cake and watch movies
all day long.
y'all gonna have a good time, but y'all gonna be out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do both.
But this is more important too, with who you select to spend your life with. For me, and I'm always talking about me and my wife. I was that person. Me, I was gonna stay in the house, save up all my money, and I ain't going nowhere. I ain't buying nothing. We'd have been sitting on lawn chairs up in that thing, boy. I'm telling you, because the thermostat would have been at 69. It would have been at 69 in the winter.
Yeah.
It would have been at 80 in the summer. I wasn't spending no money, wasn't going nowhere. But my wife not like that. And what the positive thing that happened to me is that she suffers from wanderlust sometimes. She wants to get out and see things and do things.
Yeah.
And in my quest to have a meaningful relationship with my wife, that meant I had to go out and see things.
Yep.
I had to align myself with somebody and marry somebody who didn't share my defects.
Right.
And because of that, we got to take a trip across country because we'd have still been sitting up in the house on our lawn chairs, boys, 80 degrees up in there all day long.
Hey.
But the world opened up to me because of that.
Right.
I mean, that's a big reason why I'm on location now. We in Dallas, Texas, doing some work for one of our clients. So I mean it's a big thing. So it's a positive thing to associating yourself with people who don't share your defects. If you're getting married to somebody, get married to somebody just like you. Find somebody that got those areas that you lack in, because y'all meant to make a complete person, not the same person. That's not going together.
A complete union.
Oh yeah, man, that's what
not
it's
a
all
complete
about.
person. A complete. Y'all already complete people. You're making a complete union. And that's just a simple thing, man. You know, we all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. Find somebody whose strengths and weaknesses are, you know, filling their strengths filling your weaknesses, and y'all can really get some things done.
Mm-hmm.
And by all means, friend, lover, relationship, family.
Mm-hmm. Family is a big one.
Family.
Sometimes you got to get from around them too.
Keep them toxic ass people from around you, them negative energy people.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you start feeling it, remove yourself. Don't wait on them to get out your life. You take yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there. Dive. I'm talking about dive up out of there.
Hey, run real fast.
Real fast. It'll pull you down, man. So 2 lessons tonight. First, I'm gonna say it the way you said. I can show you better than I can tell you. Don't waste your time arguing with people. Just get it done. Sometimes you got to watch and allow somebody else to fail, and then, you know, show the right way. We do it with our kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting fussing with them little kids. Let them go over there, bust his head. Now what you learn? Don't go over there. It hurt, don't it? All right then. Same thing. And then 2, and this is, I can't stress how important this is. This will change your life. Keep the negative people out of your life. Remove yourself, run, dive, whatever you have to do. Kick them out your house, kick them out, whatever. It's too big of an effect on your life. Go ahead, Doc. Close us out, brother.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, you kind of said it all right then. You know, just again, when people that are, first you must recognize that you are being drugged down by your associations.
Mm-hmm.
You got to recognize that first. When you look, I think we shared that thing with Jordan Peterson where he said, you know, if you want to find out where you're making mistakes at, sit on the edge of your bed and figure out what you're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you figure out what you're doing wrong, and you place yourself around people that's doing what's right.
Right.
That's how you get better. So I'm going to say we talked a lot about what not to do, but what's really effective with people is when you tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what I'm telling you to do is find positive people and find people that are going or are where you want to be and be around them, because the emotional osmosis will kick in and infect you.
Yes, sir.
So that, man, that's the big thing, man. And you know, we talked about Law 9, you know, show better than you can tell. Sometimes you just gotta let people do what they do. You know, if it fails, then you gotta let it fail. But on the other hand, you don't have to brag on yourself either. You show that product. I don't have to brag, oh, I'm the best video editor out there. I ain't gonna brag, I make the best videos. No, I'm just gonna make one and let you watch it. And then you're gonna see. That's what we gotta do. My wife in the background, she said, I'm all right. I done talked her up this whole screen for an hour, and she just said, I'm all right. But regardless, you know, but I think that's a good way to go about things. It's a good look. It's a good way to change your life, man. It's a good way to change your life. So change your life, get around different people. Yep. So yeah, man, that's all I got.
All right. Thank y'all for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know how it's going. Let us know if you're learning something here with us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Book of Man, 48 Laws of Power. New chapters next week. We love y'all. Thank you for joining us. We out.
Peace.